Every single Toyota GR86 is built by Subaru workers in a Subaru factory using Subaru's production system. Toyota does not have a single employee on that assembly line. So when you pay for a Toyota sports car, you are paying for a Subaru that Toyota tuned worse, priced lower, and somehow made more valuable on the used market. That should not make sense. But when you understand why, it changes how you look at every badge on every car. In 2005, General Motors was bleeding cash and needed to sell off assets fast. One of those assets was a 20% stake in Fuji Heavy Industries, the company that owns Subaru. Toyota stepped in the same day GM walked away and bought almost 9% for about $315 million. By 2008, they doubled their stake. By 2020, they owned a full 20%, which basically made Subaru part of the Toyota family. But the car itself almost never happened. Toyota pulled an engineer named Tetsuya Tada off minivan duty and told him to build a sports car with no restrictions. Tada pitched the idea to Subaru, and Subaru said no. A rear-wheel drive coupe did not fit with Subaru's whole thing of all-wheel drive everything. The project sat dead for 6 months. Tada finally built a working prototype on a Subaru legacy platform, handed the keys to Subaru engineers, and let the car speak for itself. They changed their minds. A car born from a bankruptcy fire sale that almost became an SUV instead, and that is why every GR86 and every BRZ rolls off the same assembly line today. But sharing an origin story and sharing a factory floor are two very different things. Every single GR86 and BRZ is built at Subaru's Gunma main plant in Oda, Japan. This is not a Toyota factory, and it is not even a split building where each company gets its own side. This is a Subaru plant with Subaru workers running Subaru's production system. Toyota does not have a single worker of their own on that line. They send quality control specs and inspectors, but when it comes to bolting these cars together, painting the body panels, and running the final checks on the rolling road, that is all Subaru. I think that tells you something important. You are either buying a Subaru with Toyota's name on it, or you are buying a Subaru with Subaru's name on it. Either way, Subaru built your car. And here's something that cracked me up when I found out. Toyota is famous for something called the andon cord. Any worker on the assembly line can pull a rope and stop everything if they spot a problem. But at the Gunma plant where they build the GR86, workers cannot stop the line themselves. They have to call a supervisor first. Toyota's most famous factory rule does not apply to its own sports car. The engines come from a separate Subaru plant nearby. The 2.4-liter Boxer in the current cars and the 2.0-liter engine in the first generation were both designed by Subaru with Toyota's direct injection system added on top. The same workers build both cars on the same line. The only difference is the logo they bolt on at the end. But identical origins do not mean identical cars. What happens after these cars leave the factory is where the story splits wide open. Toyota and Subaru took the same platform and set up the suspension to do completely different things. The GR86 runs softer front springs and stiffer rear springs. The BRZ flips that completely, stiffer fronts and softer rears. That changes the entire balance. The GR86 wants to kick the back end out more in corners. The BRZ stays planted and neutral. On a track day, that is a real difference you can feel in the steering wheel, not something you have to imagine. It goes deeper than spring rates. The BRZ uses a forged aluminum front steering knuckle. The GR86 carries over the older steel knuckle from the first generation. Lighter parts on the BRZ front suspension mean the wheels follow the road better over bumps. The rear sway bars mount differently too. The BRZ bolts directly to the body. The GR86 bolts to the subframe. Autocross competitors will tell you the BRZ responds more sharply to sway bar upgrades because of that single bracket difference. And then there is the throttle map I mentioned at the start. Independent tuners pulled the engine control unit data from both cars and confirmed it. The GR86 gives you everything the engine has at about 40% of the pedal. Everything past that is dead space. You stomp on the gas thinking you are asking for more, and the car already gave you everything it had halfway through the pedal stroke. The BRZ builds power smoothly all the way to the floor, so the car Toyota built for drifting actually gives you less throttle control at the limit than the one Subaru built for precision. I have talked to autocross competitors who switched from the GR86 to the BRZ specifically because of this. The person in charge of the BRZ at Subaru called out Toyota's marketing at a press event and said they designed the BRZ for stability and control, not comfort. That is one car company calling out its own partner at a press event. You almost never see that. Toyota built the so-called drifter with a dead throttle pedal. Subaru built the so-called comfort car with more precision at the limit. So the engineering is different in ways that matter when you push these cars. But the next part is where things get really interesting from a money standpoint. If you had to guess which badge costs more, you would probably say Toyota. Gazoo Racing branding, heritage editions, motorsport marketing. Toyota charges a premium for everything else it sells. But for 2026, the GR86 base model starts at $30,800. The BRZ starts at $35,860. The Subaru costs over $5,000 more for a car that shares the same 2.4-liter boxer engine, the same 228 horsepower, and the same basic platform. That is the widest MSRP gap in the entire history of this car. On paper, the Toyota is the obvious financial choice. But the story does not end at the sticker price. Subaru dealers are actually discounting the BRZ right now. The TS model is selling around 6% below sticker. In some markets, buyers are getting $2,000 to $4,000 off without a fight. Toyota dealers barely move on the GR86. Maybe $1,000 off if you catch a good day. So the sticker says Toyota wins by $5,000, but if you haggle, that gap can shrink to $2,000 or $3,000 depending on where you live and which dealer you walk into. And the limited editions tell their own story. The Trueno and the Hakone traded $8,000 to $10,000 over sticker when they first launched. Toyota caps every special edition at exactly 860 units, a nod to the original AE86 Corolla. It is smart marketing that makes them feel rare and pushes dealer markups through the roof. Subaru has never tried anything like that with the BRZ. I've heard from a lot of you in the comments saying the BRZ was a way easier deal to negotiate at the dealership, and the numbers back that up completely. Same factory, same engine, and a $5,000 spread that says everything about what you are really paying for. And according to depreciation tracking data, the GR86 loses about 14% of its value over 5 years. BRZ loses roughly 24%. The GR86 is ranked the #1 sports car in the entire market for holding its value. The car that costs $5,000 less up front also loses 10% less when you sell it. The BRZ buyer gets hit on both ends. And when you dig into why, it tells you everything about how Toyota plays the used car market. Toyota's dealer network is roughly twice the size of Subaru's, about 1,500 locations compared to 640. More visibility, more demand from casual buyers. Toyota also plays the scarcity game with those limited runs. Subaru has publicly said they are prioritizing Forester production over the BRZ, which means the BRZ is essentially built to order, while the GR86 sits on more lots. I talked about resale value patterns across Japanese brands in a previous video, and the same trend shows up everywhere. The Toyota name is worth more when you go to sell, no matter who actually built the car. The cheaper car at the dealer is also the cheaper car to own long-term. The BRZ loses on both counts. If you're getting value from this, subscribe. I cover Japanese cars every single week. Now, everything up to this point has been about driving feel and money, but the next one is where things really made me angry. Both cars carry the same warranty on paper. 3 years, 36,000 miles bumper to bumper, 5 years, 60,000 on the powertrain. The coverage on paper is identical. But how those warranties actually get enforced is a completely different story. A case blew up in the enthusiast world a couple of years back. A guy with a 2022 GR86 had an engine problem. Someone from Toyota's warranty team denied the claim over the phone without ever looking at the car because they found autocross photos on the owner's social media. The denial did not come from the dealer. It came from Gulf States Toyota, a separate company that runs Toyota dealerships across Texas and a few nearby states. Basically a middleman between Toyota's headquarters and the actual dealer that the owner did not even know existed. After the story got media attention, Toyota corporate overrode the denial and covered the engine. That whole situation makes me furious, because you know what Toyota includes with every GR86? A free membership to a national motorsport organization, plus a free track day. They literally market track use as part of owning this car, and then a regional distributor uses track day photos to reject warranty claims. Pick a lane, Toyota. Subaru does not play that game. BRZ owners on the forums say Subaru of America handles engine warranty claims way better, and without digging through your Instagram first. If you plan to autocross or do track days, that difference in warranty culture is worth more than the suspension tuning. Toyota sells the experience of tracking your GR86. A regional distributor punishes you for doing it. But before you think the BRZ is the obvious winner here, there is one more thing, and this one hits both cars equally. I need to talk about this because I had a customer bring me a 2023 BRZ with rod knock at 22,000 miles. The story behind why these engines fail is something every owner should understand. The 2.4-liter boxer in the current Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ has a known problem that neither Toyota nor Subaru has done anything about. Chunks of cured RTV sealant, the silicone used to seal the oil pan at the factory, can break loose over time and clog the oil pickup screen inside the engine. When that screen clogs, oil pressure drops, the bearings starve, and you get rod knock followed by a very expensive paperweight where your engine used to be. Japanese tuning shops apparently knew about this problem before the car even launched in the United States. Fixing it properly means pulling the front timing cover off the engine, which is about a 13-hour job at the dealer. No formal recall has been issued. On top of that, the FA24 Boxer has a separate rod bearing weakness on cylinders 2 and 3, because those two cylinders share the same oil feed. The enthusiast forums have a community spreadsheet tracking confirmed engine failures that ran past 50 pages. This is a pattern, not a couple of random lemons. The first generation had its own engine disaster. The valve spring recall back in 2018 covered over 400,000 Scion FRS and Subaru BRZ models. The fix itself turned out to be worse than the original problem. Dealers apparently used way too much RTV sealant during the fix and killed 75 engines after the recall was done. The original valve spring problem only took out 11. The repair killed more engines than the problem it was supposed to fix. A class action lawsuit followed against both Toyota and Subaru. Both generations of this car and both badges have the exact same engine problem because it is the same engine from the same Subaru factory. Bonus: the Scion era proves the badge game has been running from day one. When this platform first launched in 2012, it had 3 names: Scion FRS in the United States, Toyota 86 in Japan, and Subaru BRZ everywhere else. Scion was Toyota's youth brand, and it priced the FRS at $24,200. The BRZ Premium started at $25,495. So from the very beginning, the Toyota version cost less. In the first full year, the FRS outsold the BRZ nearly 3-to-1. Over 17,000 Scion units moved versus fewer than 8,000 Subaru. Sounds like buyers preferred the Toyota, right? They did not get the choice. Subaru of America only ordered 6,000 units on purpose because they did not believe a rear-wheel drive car could sell under a brand built around all-wheel drive. Toyota took 10,000 units. The sales gap was a supply decision, not a demand signal. Then Scion died in 2016. Toyota rebranded the car as the Toyota-86 the very next model year with zero transition period. Cars built after August of that year got the new badge, and the price jumped to $26,255, almost a 4% increase overnight, just for swapping the logo on the trunk. The car was identical. The factory did not change. The engine did not change. The sticker went up because the word Toyota carries more weight than the word Scion ever did. Same assembly line, different badge, higher price. If that does not tell you exactly how the car industry works, nothing will. So what is the real takeaway here? The GR86 and the BRZ are not the same car wearing different bumpers. They share an engine and a production line, but Toyota and Subaru set these cars up to drive differently on purpose, price them $5,000 apart, and handle warranty claims in totally different ways. If you want to save money, haggle a better deal, and get more control on track, the BRZ is the smarter buy. But if you care more about what the car is worth when you sell it, the GR86 wins that by a mile, even though its throttle is worse. I lean toward the BRZ for anyone who actually plans to push the car hard, but the GR86 makes sense if you are thinking about trade-in value in 4 or 5 years. Either way, check the oil level on these cars religiously. Change it early and often. And if a dealer ever tries to tell you these two are completely different machines to justify a markup, now you know exactly what they share and exactly where they split. If you own either of these cars, or you are thinking about buying one, I did a video called Never Use These 11 Oil Brands in Your Japanese Car. That video covers which oils actually protect the FA24 Boxer, and which ones accelerate the bearing wear I just told you about. If you skip it and pour the wrong oil into this engine, everything I just warned you about happens faster.